A full breakdown on the houses in astrology. Now, why you need to understand this is because this is how you start reading charts. If you don't know what houses means, then you're going to be lost when you see a chart. Now, this isn't fucking houses like, I don't even know the what's going to do this, but you know what I'm saying? This is a chart house. Now, what is the first house? The first house is the house of yourself, of the body, of the face, or mainly like this bit, but it's of the face, of the body, of the constitution. It can also signify fame. Also, of course, it is the ascendant. And it is a very important house because it kind of sets the precedent for how the whole chart will manifest. Because if your ascendant is a different sign, then obviously every house will have a different sign. And that obviously changes a lot of shit up in how you read a chart. Second house. Second house is family. It's your mouth. It's kind of how you speak, or not how you speak, your voice, how your voice sounds. It's food, wealth, more like savings, but yeah, it is wealth too. And it's kind of the gains of the first house. What is the first house? It's yourself, it's the body, it's your vessel. Additionally, second house is very, very important in seeing how well you save. And you can see how well you save by the condition of your second house. You want to see whether the Lord is essentially what planet rules the second house. So, for example, if the second house is Leo, the Lord of the second house would be Sun. And then you want to see what condition the Sun's in. Is the Sun also in Leo? That means you're going to be very good at saving. It also means your family, or you come from a family with high status, because obviously Leo is a very regal sign. You have the king, the leader, that's the sun, in that sign. Also, third house. Third house is communication, kind of how you speak. So not your voice or how you sound, but how you speak. It is also skills of the hands, siblings, usually typically younger siblings, friends, neighbors. As I said, communication, short distance travel, also like short distance or like short formed, let's say entertainment. So this would kind of come under social media, kind of TV shows. I mean, I don't know, just the way things are going. I'd maybe say because things are getting shorter and smaller and smaller. Maybe that's the fifth house, but yeah, that, and it is also bravery and courage. Fourth house, property, mother, your internal feelings. You can also say friends of the family too, because it's third from. This is kind of where it gets a bit more complicated. Third from the second house is obviously, then you apply the third house, like attributes and characteristics, from to the fourth house because it's third from the second. I know it's a bit complicated, but yeah. Then you have the fifth house. Fifth house is about, oh, fourth house is also about where, or like what conditions you're comfortable in, etc. So if you had let's say Saturn in the fourth house, this isn't obviously the best for your mental state because Saturn's about fear, kind of anxiety. It's also means that you wouldn't be very optimistic, you'd be quite pessimistic. Generally, obviously, there's more to it, but this is typically how it is. But it also means you'd be very comfortable at work because Saturn is also work. Fifth house about children. It's also about, this is more about like longer form entertainment because it's third from the third. So third from the third is kind of, or whatever. If you double it, it's like Super Saiyan. So second from the second, third from the third. These are like the Super Saiyan versions of itself, if you know what I'm saying. So this is more so like theater. This is long form. I'd kind of also say podcasts, films, movies, of course. And then I don't know. I'm a bit torn between like TV shows. Obviously, it depends how long the TV show is. Something like Game of Thrones, where it's an hour long, I'd probably say it's fifth house. If it's like an anime, where it's like 20 minutes long, you can kind of say third house. But yeah, then it is also education because the original ruler of the fifth house is Leo. Leo's about education. It's also about the arts, and it's also about children. Additionally, it's about investments, and this is more so, I'd say, stocks. You can maybe say crypto, but not too much. But yeah, it's investments. You can also say it's the, or not also, it's the family of the mother. So it's your maternal family. And you can also say the savings of the mother too. So again, if the lord of the fifth house is placed quite shitly, you can say the mother's a shit spender. Saver, sorry. We have the sixth house. Now this is quite interesting. Sixth house is about contracts. It's also about obstacles, diet, health, conflicts. Now this is kind of make or break for certain things, especially for something like sports. You really do want it to be well placed, the sixth lord, and you also want a good planet in this house, because then you're very, very good at sports. And again, this is because it's overcoming your obstacle, overcoming conflicts and obstacles in a competitive setting is still relevant. And obviously, an obstacle might be your opponent, and it doesn't just mean in real life; it can mean in sports. Seventh house. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to the sixth house. Sixth house is also, as I said before, it's about your health and your diet. So if you have something like K2, it's cuts to your diet, cuts to your health. These aren't things that you want, really. Seventh house. Seventh house is about your spouse because it's opposite you. It's your partner, your other half. It's also, this is more so contracts and business relationships and partnerships. It's also the public, in a sense. So, like, the best way of explaining it, and this is why first house is also fame, but in a different way. First house is the fame of like the king, and then seventh house. So the fame of a king would be something like I would say like a politician or a literal king, a prime minister, whatever. Seventh house would be like celebrities or fame of the masses. So like I don't know why this came up, James Charles or Kim Kardashian, something like that. They're totally different. They're both famous for kind of different reasons, if you know what I'm trying to say. Obviously, first house, what I said about first house, you can also use for the 10th house. Also, the planets that sit in the 7th house are very, very telling about your partner, about how your partner is going to be, etc. So let's say, hypothetically, you have Mars in the 7th house. This kind of means, I mean, it also depends on a lot of things, but you can see from the surface level, your partner may be very aggressive, may even hit you. However, obviously, like there's more into it. You can't just say just off that that's what your partner does, but these are kind of the basic things. Also, could mean that your partner's very, very competitive, is a fighter, for example. Maybe they're a boxer. So you see how it goes. Then eighth house. Eighth house, very, very interesting for a lot of things. So because it's second from the seventh, second from something will mean it has the attributes of the second house, which is family. So this is how you see your in-laws. Again, it also shows the wealth of your in-laws. It also shows the gains of your spouse. So if you had something like Venus in the eighth house, it means when you marry, you will get a lot of money. Money will come in through it. Additionally, if this is, let's say, a contract, it would also kind of mean the same thing because it's the gains of the contract. Because the seventh house isn't just about relationships. So, for example, if I saw Venus in the eighth house, I would tell the person generally try signing contracts. Let's say you're at work, you want a new contract. You should probably be a contractor rather than like a freelancer, rather than a permanent contract. Because again, the more contracts you have, the higher chance of you getting that raise. Additionally, eighth house is about the occult. Occult is what I'm speaking about right now. It's astrology, numerology. It's the things that are hidden. It's the esoteric things. It is also because the originator of, or this is originally ruled by Scorpio. So what does that mean? Transformation, rebirth, deaths, things that are underground. So this can literally mean materials of the underground, oil. So again, if I saw something like Venus in eighth house, I'll tell you, yo, invest in oil because you will get wealth from it. Because wealth or luxury. because that is what Venus represents. This is very, very significant if you want to go into astrology or what I was talking about, numerology, etc. Because this kind of shows, or there's other things, but this kind of shows your competence at this stuff. Then the ninth house. Ninth house is the significator of the father. It can also signify the friends of your spouse, because again, it's third from the seventh. Friends from the spouse and even the younger sibling of the spouse. Then father, higher learning. So fifth house is education, but because it's fifth from the fifth, it would be masters, kind of degrees. I don't know. I mean, I guess degree is higher learning. So yeah, degrees, masters, PhDs, doctorate. This is what the ninth house represents. And again, if the ninth lord is in shit standing, the likelihood of you pursuing those things is not going to be there, or you drop out. Then it also kind of shows your relationship with your father. It can show if he's going to be a good father, if you have good relationship, if you will learn a lot from him. It also represents luck, if you're a lucky person, if you're not a lucky person. And foreign travels or long distance travel. Long distance travel is typically across borders or across seas. So let's say, I don't know, Mexico to fucking America, like that. Whereas third house is short distance travel. So this would be, I don't know, going across the other side of your city. Now, the 10th house. 10th house is about career. This is also kind of the significator of the father, because it's seventh from your mother. So I guess it's the father. It can also, I guess you can technically say stepdad too. It's also the how the outside world or the public perceives you. So again, this is very, very prominent for someone who's going to be famous, just like the seventh house is. This can also be a good significator of politics. This is because, I mean, this is from huge amount of reasons, but Sun has its directional strength here in the 10th house. Why is that? Because the way astrology works is this side, so from I guess the 12th all the way to the 7th is the day. 10th house is the middle of that, and that means it's midday, it's about 12 o'clock. So people that are born midday usually have their sun in the 10th house. Now, you can also say, I mean, not also say, but this again shows a lot about the family of the father, the mother of your spouse, because it's fourth from the 7th. Then we have the 11th house. 11th house is about older siblings, your networking, your gains from your career, because it's second from the 10th, which is career. So it's your financial gains, and it is about politics, because it is kind of your network. It is the servants of the people. So that is what politicians or politics are meant to be. So who you're serving? You're serving the public. Then, by the way, this is very, very important. The 11th house and the condition of the 11th house for financial gains. As I said before, this can also tell a lot about how you can gain from your career. But yeah, I will divulge into that in a different video. Then we have the 12th house. Oh, by the way, 11th house is also about innovation. 12th house, isolation, detachment, losses, spirituality, foreign lands, investments. Now, again, moksha, so enlightenment, intuition too, slightly. Fourth house is more intuition, but this is also intuition. Now, this, because you have to understand what losses means. You can't just look at losses in the financial sense, because it is also financial sense. If you have like Venus is kind of a bit, because Venus originally gets exalted in this place or the 12th house, because Pisces is the original ruler of the 12th house. But let's say, for this example, you had Venus in the 12th house. This is losses of relationships, and you would say losses of wealth. But this can also mean losses of diseases or whatever, or losses of bad habits. Now, this would obviously entail different placements, etc. But this is what I mean. You can't solely use one definition of what losses is. You kind of have to extrapolate. And yeah, now this is also the house of addiction and bed pleasures. So, sexy, fun type. The other house of kind of like sex is the eighth house because it's the hidden stuff. You don't do sex out in the open unless you're a you know what. Like me, to look at your own chart, then you can go into the link of my bio and click the astrology reading or numerology reading, go onto my landing page and fill out the questions.